Yes, it sounds like an airport in here. But not an ordinary airport. You have to use my air conditioning, sorry. It's like 98 or something out, hotter than hell. Alright. But BAM! Yeah, it's such a crazy day. Now, I'm more optimistic about the Abby and Libby case. But it kind of makes me concerned that they don't have a very good DNA sample. Perhaps. I don't know. You know, that's what the rumor is. Yep, but I'm actually coming back on here because when I was doing the video, both the live today and the live that I did 5 months ago about this case, and the video I put out prior to that, well, that video didn't have this information that I'm about to say, but do you remember earlier when I said I don't know how they linked the barn up with the killer just because there was a note on it, you know? Was it because they found a note at the original crime scene that it matched? Maybe there was DNA left somewhere. But there was a rumor out there, and it was actually, you guys have heard of Michelle McNamara. She had a true crime diary, it's called, a blog. And then one of her messages, I actually remember reading this back then. I actually forgot about it, but this is exactly what I read. Listen. Investigators say they believe whoever wrote the message was April's killer. That's the message on the barn. They haven't said why they believe that, but there are two possibilities. The writing implement, said to be crayons, was found nearby, and DNA from the crayons could have been matched to a sample found on April's body. The second possibility has been discussed on message boards, but not confirmed. Well, they didn't say the third possibility, which is the one I said, was that maybe there was a note at the first scene that we don't know about. Okay, but anyways, it's alleged that when April's body was found, she was fully clothed, but missing one shoe. The rumor is that above "ha ha" was the question, did you find the other shoe? Okay, now that was just a rumor at the time, and it was on social media blogs. Now I'm sort of wondering now if whoever started that rumor was actually potentially the killer, or they had inside information. Okay, and let me open up this document here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to find it. For some reason it's closed down right now. Let's see. Alright, so I actually have the affidavit from, I don't know if it's from today or when it was written. I'm not really sure, but look down here. There's this portion right here where it says, the note on the barn saying, I kill 8-year-old April Tinsley. Did you find her other shoe? Ha ha. I will kill again. See, it really did say that. That is really why they knew, because at the time, they didn't give out the shoe information. Alright, so only the killer would know that one of the shoes was missing. Now, if you guys watched the documentary tonight on Paul is On, let me turn down this music. I think it's too loud. And by the way, if you hear the hum in the background, my air conditioning's on. Alright? And I think I've said that already. But listen to that. Look how crazy that is. So that note that was on the barn door, all the public got to see was this right here. I kill 8-year-old April Marie Tinsley. I will kill again. And it says ha ha over here. Okay, but it turns out that there's more on there. And it actually says, I kill 8-year-old April Tinsley. Did you find her other shoe? Ha ha, I will kill again. All right, and then see, that's one of the reasons Beth made a post in the Facebook group that starts with actual case discussion of the Libby and Abby case. she made a post in there today that said that that's why law enforcement keeps things from the public, because when the killer mentions, or the person who actually was there mentions something that only they would know, then you know you got the killer. So on the barn door, the fact that it said that means that they knew that that was the killer, right? Because at the time, April had on a shoe, and there was one missing where she was actually found, but law enforcement found the other shoe 800 feet away. And the killer didn't know that. So when he said, "Did you find the other shoe?" Ha ha. Now it turns out that he actually tossed that shoe out the window. Later he saw that the shoe was still in the car, so he drove back out and he just chucked it on the side of the road. So they found it, within the first couple days of the... I don't remember exactly when he said he threw it out there, but I think it was between the time she was killed and when she was found, because it took people 3 days to find the body. He actually drove out and was wondering, gosh, how come nobody's reported this? So then he threw the shoe, but it wasn't near there. It was 800 feet away. So that actually answers that mystery of how they knew the barn door note was written by the killer. Because, anybody could have written that, right? But the fact that he put that little piece of information... Now, we have been looking him up. There's a guy that's helped me out on Facebook, and Beth's been looking him up using that same information. And this guy, he could actually be a really smart person based on what we've found. Like literally a doctorate degree engineer type, but he looks like a complete just down and out person. What if the trailer is actually... just something he used to do bad things, if you know what I'm saying. He was like I'm not saying this is 100% sure. I'll have to change the title of this video because I just jumped on so fast I forgot to... I'll put update on there and then hit enter and see what happens. Hopefully it changes what's being put out to people. So, anyways, I put update on that. Everything else would be about the same. All right. There we go. Should be updated. No, didn't do it. Case update. I wonder if it doesn't update it for you. Okay, now it says a date. Oh boy, really struggling here. Really struggling. Yeah, but man, that's pretty crazy. That's something that I was really curious about. She said, "Oh, the crayon," but I think it would have been more likely that there was a note not mentioned found at the original crime scene. I think they mentioned her only having one shoe on in much later, like 2004 or 2015. I don't know. But the 1990 barn note proved to law enforcement that that was the killer, because he said, "Did you find the other shoe?" And law enforcement was like, "Yeah, we found it. It was 800 feet away." Okay, finally now it says updated. Alright, so I'm going to open up. Here is a video that was on Fort Wayne NBC earlier. Right here.
Hey guys, I'm at the Grable Mobile Home Parks in Grable.
Sorry about the echo sound. I don't know why it's doing that.
Now I'll step out so that we can kind of take a walk. So you can see, actually he does have his name in front of his home. It says John Miller. If you haven't heard the news, this is in relation to the April Tinsley case. It broke a little earlier today. We broke it for you guys.
I was looking at that writing on there to try to see if it looks sort of similar. I mean, I don't know.
But he lived at this home.
Hard to say.
And as you can see, I'm sure you saw the sign there that says his name, but this is the home where police say today they confronted Miller in front of his residence. Now, this is after they performed a trash pull. They performed that on July 6th to search for any sort of DNA. They did find some things, used condoms again, they found and linked it to Miller, who lives here. Now, he did agree to talk to police when they confronted him today, and he went to the Fort Wayne Police Department and talked to him. Now, they confronted him and asked him if he knew why they were there, and he told them, it's actually quoted from the court documents, he said April Tinsley, so it was a little bit of a chilling moment that went across the community. Now, court documents also say, he says in court documents that he abducted Tinsley and took her right here to this apartment where we are live from right here, right now in Grable. We are at the Grable trailer, what's it called?
I don't know, Truth Sleuth. I'm looking at a different document than that.
Grable Mobile Home Park right here in Grable, Indiana. I apologize for that. Again, we are here. This is where John Miller lives, for those of you just joining us.
You know, I was really, let me pause that for a second. I was really surprised that IDTV didn't at least put something at the end, you know, verbally, like, hey, you know, we're breaking news here, they actually caught the guy. You know, they didn't do that. They just did a show like it was a show, and, you know, it was interesting and everything. Now, some new stuff in there for me. I remember reading about it. It said that she went to pick up her umbrella at a friend's house, but it sounds like from the mother that she was actually going home to pick up the umbrella and then was going to go back to the friend's house. So, not that that's, you know, earth-shatteringly interesting. I'm trying to figure out how the witness got a clear view of the face, too, of the person, when all it was the blue truck driving by, and then it drove, and then Tinsley wasn't walking anymore after that. But that's pretty, it bothers me a lot that they were like, just put it out, you know. You know, they should have waited. They should have actually just changed it up a little bit. It would have got a lot more views, too, probably, had they said, you know what, we changed this. They caught the guy. Let's go over the story, and then we'll also show you who they caught and get a little bit of information on that guy, too. But I was actually a little bit surprised there. Not in a good way. All right.
He did get taken into police custody today in relation to April Tinsley's case. Now, this is a case that has been
Yeah, the circumstantial evidence against that one guy was crazy. I would have thought, oh, yeah, that's him. I mean, it was every single thing. The Polaroid camera, although back then, I don't know when this was, when they did this, maybe it was 2004-ish, but yeah, they had a Polaroid camera, and the truck, he had a blue truck that I guess he spray painted. I mean, it went on and on and on, but yes, DNA excluded him. See, that just shows you how sometimes wrong people get convicted merely from circumstantial information.
Cold case for 30 years now. The crime happened 30 years ago, and today they finally were able to link some new DNA. If you can kind of see back there, I don't know if you guys can see, but the trash can back there is where police did a trash pull on July 6th. We can kind of zoom in there, see if you can see that. Now, they did a trash pull, and they did find some used condoms, and they were able to match the DNA from the condoms to those at the crime scene where April Tinsley was found, and the crime scene from there matched DNA with those also found at the different crime scenes around Fort Wayne and around this part of Indiana, where he left notes for on bikes of little girls and things like that. Now, for those of you just joining, we are at John Miller's trailer home here in Grable, Indiana.
What are you talking about,
he did
Justin?
agree to speak with police
You're
and
just watch what I got on my own screen
he
here,
said,
okay?
you know, April Tinsley.
I don't know
So
what
we
you're
kind of
talking
had an
about,
idea.
porn
and
and
he
stuff
said
like
that
that.
this is in the court documents. It says that
not really
this
that
is
interesting.
where the crimes took place in relation to April Tinsley's case. And we talked to some neighbors, and they tell us that it's just a chilling factor. This neighbor actually that lives in this home right next door to him said, you know, he kind of kept keeps to himself. He said he kind of maybe had an anger problem and would yell in his front yard and throw things.
Yeah,
But the
well,
community
don't
doesn't
worry
really
about the
know
one on
a lot about
Facebook.
it.
I'm
Another
playing the
neighbor
video
down the
right
street
here.
says she saw him getting in and out of his car every now and then. But it's something that the neighbors say they never expected. Again, for those of you just joining, we are at John Miller's
I didn't put
home,
anything
who is
in there.
police custody at the Allen County Jail right now in connection with April Tinsley.
Oh, did I have one of my bots show
and
up?
rape. So he is in police custody. This is a 30-year-old case. And
I don't know
today
what
they
you're
were able
referring to, sorry.
to pick him up after they confronted him actually right here in front of his home. And he did admit to police. He admitted that crimes took place in this home. But also tonight at 11, make sure you guys tune in. Tonight at 11, we will have more from the neighbors and those who live in the community. If you look across here, police are still here. They're sort of making sure that nothing goes on here. But in this lot right here, neighbors and people from the community have been coming all day long. This street has been so busy, I cannot even explain.
Yeah, I've got a
It has
picture of
been
him.
the busiest street ever. People
I'll
are
put it on the
talking,
screen in a
people
minute.
are looking, they're taking pictures of his home. It's just a community coming together and talking about, this 30-year-old
But what are you
case,
referring to up here when
now
you
being
said?
solved. And another thing that neighbors shared with me that sort of bothered them was that right over there, you
Talking
can
about
see in the distance
Facebook.
is the
You put
girls'
your
little
video
league
link
softball
there.
field.
Or
And they
someone
said,
did.
the
Where did I
neighbors
put
say
the
they
video
took their
link?
kids there. One lady
What are you
who actually
even
has
talking
an
about?
8-year-old
See, now I'm
daughter,
already
she
totally
says walks back
confused.
and
You've
forth. Another
typed
lady
so
said
many
kids walk
comments
past here for their
that I have
bus
no
stops.
idea
So it's just
where to
something
start.
the
Just
community
start
is
over
very
again.
shocked about, and something that they said that they never saw coming, but again, they are relieved and happy for the Tinsley family. Some people say, finally justice is going to be served in this case that's been 30 years going. Detectives have been investigating this for 30 years
I don't need
now,
to call
and
in.
finally they have
I just need to know what he's
He
talking
admitted to the crimes. We'll look one more time so that you can see his home here. We are at John Miller's home. He is in the Allen County Jail as of right now, but for those of you just
See, if you look at this home, he looks like he's a poor person. So I'm not really sure. The document that I saw earlier, it sounds like he does electronic, like engineer kind of stuff. But and has a doctorate, and he has the same address and everything. So it seems like it's the right guy. Yeah, hey Justin, I don't even know what you're talking about in general. I have no clue. Okay? When you say the site did something, I have no clue what you're talking about. You said I put a link in there and somehow there's porn around it or something. I have no clue what you're talking about.
tune in tonight at 11 to hear more on the background of April Tinsley's case. And we are going to be at her memorial. We're at her memorial today, so you guys can check that out. And we're going to have neighbors' reactions, people who live next door, people who live down the street, and just people from the community of Grable who are all shooken up about this. Make sure you tune in tonight at 11 to hear more on April Tinsley's case and to hear from neighbors and everyone from the Grable community who is completely shocked that John Miller has been picking up for the April Tinsley's case.
Oh, what site is my video on? You mean a video that I made is on a different site? Oh boy. I've never had so many, certain people that always throw off the entire live every single time. It's like they just don't speak clearly. It just unbelievable. All right, I'm just going to go over this affidavit right now. It says, let's see. The affidavit, Brian Martin is an officer in the Fort Wayne Police Department. The affidavit believes and has good cause to believe that the said defendant committed the I'm not going to read all the legalese, stuff like that. Okay. On 4/4/1988, the Indiana State Police and DeKalb County Police Department. This is such small text over here. Maybe I can zoom in on it. All right, there we go. That's bigger. My eyes, like I said. Let's see. They were called to 5037 County Road 68, Spencerville, Indiana, in reference to the deceased body of a young girl in the ditch. The clothing description matched that of April Tinsley. Detectives also located a shoe that appeared to belong to the young girl approximately 1,000 feet west of the body. So I wonder if we went to Google Earth here. So she was found right here, and they're saying west. Let's see. Let's take the approximately 1,000 feet. So it looks like right there. Approximately, right? So he said he threw it in the ditch. Is there a ditch right there too? Let's see. I guess there is like a slight little ditch on the side of the road right there. And right there, but not a big one. Interesting. So he drove by, checked to see, wow, nobody's found her yet, and then he just kept driving, and then you look back, oh my god, the shoe's in there, and he tossed it out the window. I bet he didn't say, oh my god, though. You know what I mean? Let's see. So it said detectives on the scene were able to take a Polaroid picture of the victim to show to Tinsley's family. I mean, how crappy would that be, huh? On 4/4/1988, at approximately 5:50 p.m., Janet and Michael Tinsley identified the body of the young girl along County Road 68, Spencerville, Indiana, as April M. Tinsley. An autopsy revealed that April M. Tinsley died of asphyxiation with indications of sexual assault. Her death was ruled homicide. Forensic examination of underwear of April M. Tinsley revealed a DNA profile from an unknown male. So they stored that. Amazingly, in 1988, they stored that. And then they compared it to those notes in 2004, and it was an exact match. So now they have a match between the crime scene, the killer, but the person who killed April, the barn, and the 2004 notes that had semen in them, in condoms that were in the notes. Something I didn't know though is that he took 10. Hey Vic, that they took 10. Or the killer took 10 Polaroid shots of himself on that bed. I didn't realize there was that many of them. It'd be interesting to see them and see if there was anything else visible in the scene that they perhaps didn't notice, or maybe should have noticed. On May 21st, 1990, law enforcement was called to a barn located at Schwartz Road at SR 37. Detectives observed writing on the barn from the suspect killer, taking credit for killing April Tinsley. The note on the barn saying, "I kill 8-year-old April M. Tinsley. Did you find her shoe? Ha ha, we'll kill again." And again, that barn was right there. And he put it on a barn that everybody would notice. You see how that's just sort of an iconic barn on a road that if you just happen to be driving by, you would see this. So it was right here on this barn, still there today, actually. All right, so in 2004, police were dispatched to 1615 oh, sweet, we can get these now. I've never had these exact addresses, so let's try this. Here we go. 1615 Benham Drive, Fort, okay, there we go, Fort Wayne. Now let's see how close I was to it. Okay, I was close. I just put a marker about where it was. So now we know exactly where it was, right? Boom. Can you say update? Hashtag update. All right, got it. Boom. All right. In 2004, police were dispatched to 1615 Benham Drive, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Whitmer Road and Roth Road. Okay, Whitmer Road and Roth Road, Grabble, Indiana. Okay, let's see where that one is. Well, first, let's get this exact one. And 12902 Indiana Street. All right, let's do that. 12902 Indiana Street. Oh, there it is right there. Now let's see how close I was on this one. Nope, not really close, but you know, it's within a little bit. So basically all I had was this really general map that was way up, so I just kind of had to eyeball it, so now we've got some exact information. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. It doesn't look like they have street view there. Nope. That's too bad. Alright. I love making things more exact like that. Yeah, hey, thanks. Yeah, the thing is what I was looking at when I had to sort of eyeball it was this. Look, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. It was just this right here, look. Right? So that's not really, you know, that's absolutely not specific at all. But see how there's a square there? So I kind of found these roads and went, okay, about right there. You know. And then I went on Google Earth and just put a yellow thing there. So it was pretty close, pretty close. All right, now let's find there was the other location that was mentioned right here. It said in Whitmer Road and Roth Road. So I'm going to go find that in Grable. Whitmer and Roth. Oh, crap. Oh, it's Whitmer, excuse me. Whitmer Road. Okay, I'm just going to go to Whitmer Road. Okay, so there's Whitmer Road. And I think this one I have might be a little bit closer. So this is Whitmer. That's where I saw the mailman. Now let's see if I get out right here and just look. Oh crap, you actually gonna blur that crap out for me? That's Page. Alright, now I'll just do since I know where Whitmer is, I'll just say Ross Road. Whitmer Road and Roth Road. There we go. Wow, that's not even close. Jesus. Wait, so that's Roth Road? Or are these just two separate things? Let's see. Law enforcement was called to a barn located... No, not that one. In Whitmer Road and Roth Road. Let's see. Dispatched to 1615 Drive, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then comma, Whitmer Road and Roth Road. So are these totally just completely different? Because I don't think Roth Road... Oh, does it? Hold on. Yeah, this is Roth Road right here. So that's Whitmer in there. So how in the hell would that ever run into... Does it continue on over here? There's Roth Road. That's Roth. So that doesn't make sense to me. So maybe those are a comma. Let me see that. I'm looking at the wording here. It says Whitmer Road and Roth Road. So you would think that would be an intersection, right? Do you guys agree with that? But it says Fort Wayne, Indiana, Whitmer Road and Roth Road. Huh. Well, now I'm confused here. So because there isn't really, there's no junction between Whitmer and Roth Road. If any of you guys can figure out what the hell's going on with that. So look, this is Whitmer, right? Well, you know what? I guess if you continued Whitmer, look how, like this. Let me take a little line here, just for the sake of, I want to draw it. Watch. And you went across like this. You know, maybe at one time Grable Road was actually Roth Road. I guess that's a possibility, right? Because look how straight that is from there. I mean, maybe Whitmer actually became Grable. State, it becomes State Street. It becomes State Street, but I wonder if at one time it was actually Whitmer. Or they just, when they were looking at the map, they thought that, because it goes straight across, and they just went, oh yeah, that's Whitmer. That'd be kind of a stupid mistake, though. And that would probably be this note right here, I would imagine. Oh man, now I'm getting stuck on this. I hate when it's not really accurate like that. Now, let me try that again. So 12902 Indiana Street, Grable. Okay. All right. So yes, that was one of the houses right there. Does that one have Google Earth? No. So that was one of them, and there was only two here prior. So I guess that this one should be somewhere else, like up here somewhere. How crazy is that? If this is the spot right here, you see? Because if you look like this, I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at this. This is Whitmer, right? And if you were looking at a map and you're just kind of, at one time, maybe it continued. You see that? Because that's straight across. And then Roth Street is right there. So I'm going to say it was found right in this area on a mailbox, okay? I'm switching it to that spot. Now, if that's true, look how close he lived to that mailbox. Literally, he could just walk here, just walk right over there. Do you guys think that's a pretty reasonable guess right there? Because if it's not, they don't intersect ever. But I can see how they might have said that it intersects by doing it that way. This line right here going Whitmer goes straight across like that. And then Roth Street. Okay. All right. Done with that part. But yes, this is what I do when I'm not making videos, so you're actually seeing the inside baseball stuff, spending all this time trying to get it accurate. This is the first time I've actually had the real information. So you'll have to bear with me. Or, you don't have to watch it either. I'm not saying anybody's complaining. I'm just saying I could see how it could be boring for somebody. All right, so let's keep reading along here. Indiana Street. Police recovered 3 used condoms. 1 used condom at each of the above mentioned scenes. So each one of these scenes had a used condom on. Along with these condoms, notes were found stating the person that left the condoms had raped and killed April Tinsley. A DNA profile was developed from the abandoned condoms, and it was determined to be consistent and actually an exact match with the profile developed from the underwear of April M. Tinsley. On May 11, 2018, Detective Brian Martin arranged for genetic DNA testing and analysis to be done on April M. Tinsley's suspect. Now, if you notice the date here, May 11th. Okay, now does anybody have any information in here of when the East Area Rapist case was solved? Because right after they announced how, I am sure that they were absolutely flooded. The people that Paul Holes works with and himself, absolutely flooded. Okay, because this is back then. I think it might have been late April or early May, something like that. But I actually can't remember, so don't quote me on that. All right, and here's the thing: is they sent it on. Let's see. So that was they had already worked with Parabon Snapshot to develop a picture. So April 25th, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I sent Paul Holes the story much sooner than that on Twitter. I said, hey, you got to take a look at this one because they have a perfect DNA match, 30-year case, right up your alley. He never responded to me, but he did respond to Watcher when she again mentioned it. I guess I'm not a girl. I'm not a woman. He didn't think I was pretty enough to respond to my comment. Because Paul Holes, he's quite the ladies' man now, right? All right, let's see. On July 2nd, 2018. Well, if you remember, before we get to there, I think it was in 2016 that they sent the DNA to Parabon Snapshot, and that's where they got this right here. I'll show you this one. See this? So this is actually the image they did get from Parabon. And that's what they said he might look like. And they're pretty accurate. He does have fair skin. I'll load up a more recent picture. This is what he looks like. You can't guess the teeth stuff, but they said he'd have brown hair, but now he's older. They said his eyes would be almost exactly that color. Look at the image up there. See right here it says eye color would be 94% accurate. That the eye color would be right where they have it on that chart. Hazel green. Look at that. Boom. Right? Then they said he'd have fair skin. He's got that. Now it doesn't tell you, does he have a receding hairline? Does he have, that kind of stuff. But I think what's pretty cool is the sketch that the witness saw. I think these do look pretty similar. See the lips, how they're tight like that? That's what this guy has. The hairline's up higher. This is just a younger version of this guy. I don't know how the witness got such a great shot of that. But yeah, this technology, let's hurry up and get all these cases solved before a bunch of, you're infringing on my rights. Before the Supreme Court rules this stuff ineligible, or what do you call it, illegal to do. All right, because this is literally working, right? You send a DNA profile, you find some relatives, you start doing some testing, and then you find the person who did these gruesome murders. All right, let's get back to this. So again, on May 11th, they arranged to do some genetic testing and analysis to be done on April Tinsley suspect evidence sample. Parabon Nanolab. See, that's kind of like their lab was contacted for testing, and that's the group that actually does the genealogical study to figure out like who you're related to and start narrowing it down. On July 2nd, 2018, Parabon Nanolabs was able to narrow the DNA recovered in the suspect in the April Marie Tinsley case to two surviving brothers, John D. Miller, JPM, two surviving brothers, John D. Miller and JPM. So whatever, something P. Miller. I think it's John something Miller. I think I've actually seen that. Although, wouldn't it be weird to have a brother with the same first name? I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But I do have a document that might have relatives in it. This information was done by using open public genealogy database research by highly trained genealogists. C.C. Moore, Detective Brian Martin, and Detective Clint Hetrick began surveillance of John D. Miller and observed that John D. Miller appeared to be the lone occupant of 13722 Main Street, Lot 4. And we do have that on Google Earth right there. And you saw the image of it earlier on that video. But let's see, right here. And we were able to find out that this is the house right there. And they're even on that video that we were watching. Here, let's put that up again. Just to prove that that's the house. Watch. Okay, see that? There's a big tree right there.
Right here, right now in Grable.
Okay, so and we know this. There's one building right there, one.
Here, right now in Grable.
Then the building right there, and then three. So they're the middle one of the three. So two things to figure that out were that there's a big tree right there. That's where that tree was, and there's one, the middle one, three. So this is the one right there. Yeah. So apparently he was the lone occupant. Detectives also researched utility services at the above-mentioned address and confirmed that John D. Miller was the lone occupant of the residence. Okay, so he wasn't living with anybody, if you're wanting to know. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be living with anybody because perhaps he used that house for his private activities, if you will, his evilness. Alright, so then on July 6th, 2018, a covert trash pull was conducted at the residence of John D. Miller. Now, what's interesting on that video, too, is right back here there's a garbage can. So that's probably where they did it. It's right back there. Let's see, in an attempt to locate any items that may contain DNA from John D. Miller. In examining the trash, several items were collected, including 3 used condoms. I mean, that's like hitting the jackpot, right? Okay, and then the second part we saw, but I'll repeat it again here. It says, on July 9th, 2018, I was contacted by the Indiana State Police Laboratory and was informed. See, this is what I'm saying. You know when people say, oh, we're going to send it to DNA and it's going to take us 3 or 4 months to get something back. Really? That's bogus, all right? Because if they want something now, they can go get it. Because look at this. On July 6th, that's when they, excuse me, that's when they obtained these condoms, right? But they heard back on July 9th, 2018. So it's not like, oh man, I got to wait months. So whenever you hear that, They're full of crap, okay? I was contacted by the Indiana State Police Laboratory, and I was informed that the DNA profile extracted from the used condoms recovered from the trash pool at the residence of John D. Miller was consistent with the DNA profile recovered from the condoms recovered in 2004. An exact match, actually, which also matched the DNA recovered in April Tinsley's underwear on April 4th, 1988, when she was found on the side of the road, deceased. On July 15th, 2018, Detective Clint Hetrick of the Indiana State Police and Detective Brian Martin approached John D. Miller in front of his residence, 13722 Main Street, Lot 4, Grabble, Indiana. John D. Miller agreed to come to Fort Wayne Police Department to speak with detectives. Oh, wow, I didn't realize they actually just, he drove in there freely. John D. Miller was advised of his rights and agreed to talk to detectives. So they didn't go get him like they did in the East Area rapist case. I'm not sure why they would do that. They must have had somebody watching him, though. It's not like they would just say, hey, if you have time, come on down, They probably had, he was under constant surveillance at that point because they know he is the killer. You wouldn't just rely on luck. I mean, he could flee, right? To speak with detectives. John D. Miller was advised of his rights and agreed to talk to detectives. I then asked John Miller if he had any idea why the police wanted to talk to him. John Miller then looked at detectives and said, April Tinsley. He didn't say it as a question either. He just said it. Detectives then told John Miller that we did want to talk to him about the Tinsley case. Detectives explained that we had a DNA match. I think this guy wanted to be caught at some point. He was he tried to be taunting for a while, nothing happened, and I think he's probably wanted to have been caught for a long time. Let's see. Detectives explained that we had a DNA match of his DNA to the DNA evidence that was left on April Tinsley and the condoms left along with letters confessing to the rape and murder of April M. Tinsley. Detectives asked John Miller to explain what happened to April Tinsley. John Miller looked at Detective Hetrick Martin and said, I can't. John Miller then admitted to Detective Hetrick and Martin that he abducted April M. Tinsley from Hoagland Street, Fort Wayne, Indiana on April 1st, 1988 and took her to his trailer at 13722 Main Street, Grabble, Indiana. John Miller then told detectives that he had sex with April Tinsley. Keep in mind, she's 8. And then he killed her. John Miller advised that he choked April Tinsley to death so that she could not report him to the police. John Miller told detectives that it took about 10 minutes for April M. Tinsley to die. That means she was fighting and struggling because usually it's like 3 or 4 minutes. That's what, when you watch those crime shows, that's what they say. John Miller advised that after April M. Tinsley was dead, that he then had anal sex, if you can believe that. So this guy is like the worst of the worst, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a monster. You kind of picture the joy it would bring to a lot of people to see someone just take an aluminum bat right through the middle of his face. Something like that. And then put him in what I think the best thing they could do with this guy would be, once he's put into prison, to put him in the middle of an area where there's a lot of men that haven't been able to have sex in a long time, and perhaps covering him with Crisco oil You know, let him go to town on this guy. Well, forget the Crisco oil, okay? All right. Let's see. M. Tinsley's body. Let me keep going here. John Miller advised that he choked April Tinsley to death. Okay, said that. John Miller advised that April M. Tinsley was dead. That he then had anal sex with the deceased body of April Tinsley. Jeez, what a... Yeah. Actually, I think my whole scenario that I just gave to do is too kind. I can't really think of something, to be honest. You know, maybe turn him over to ISIS for a day, something like that. John Miller advised detectives that he then drove April M. Tinsley's body to CR 68 Spencerville, Indiana, and dumped her body in the early morning of April 2nd, so the next day, early in the morning. John D. Miller stated that he did drive by where he had dumped the body the next day, so he drove by, I guess, on the 3rd. When he did not see on the news, So John D. Miller further stated that he saw April M. Tinsley's shoe in the car and threw it out along the ditch on CR 68, Spencerville, Indiana. So that same day on the 3rd, he threw the shoe out there. But the body wasn't discovered till the 4th, and law enforcement, you know, they have people walking up and down the street, found her other shoe too. And what was kind of interesting on the documentary, they actually, or not the documentary, the show we watched tonight, they said that they believe that he drove by there, noticed the shoe, and threw it out. So they were absolutely correct. That's kind of obvious, though, right? I mean, you have a body with a shoe in it. Oh, and then the other shoe's 800 feet away. It's pretty obvious that the person was like, oh, wow, there's another shoe here, and just tossed it out. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is why this story has been so important to me. It's just the brutality of it. You know, you've got an 8-year-old girl just playing, you know, just having fun, and then just boom, she's gone. And some monster just absolutely killed her in the worst way possible. I think after when the East Area Rapist case was solved and they explained how, I think I was so excited almost immediately for the April Tinsley case. I was like, oh my God, they have got to do that in that case. Because this isn't a case where you took a swab and found a little bit of DNA somewhere. They had condoms with absolutely pure DNA sample from 2004, not some, and I don't know. And I'm glad. I'm just so, I mean, it's just amazing. Look at this. We're only in July, right? So this is literally only less than 3 months after the East Area Rapist case was solved, if my math is correct. Yes, lots of monsters out there. That's what I say often on my channel. The world is full of monsters. People are just lucky they didn't bump into one of them. And the more people we have on the planet, there's that many more monsters. For example, 10% of 3 million, or let's say 3 billion, is 300 million. Right? So let's just say that there was 10% of 3 billion. When there was 3 billion people on the planet when I was a kid, maybe let's just say 4 billion. There might have been, 10% of that would be 400 million psychos in the world, right? But now there's almost 8 billion. So now there's 800 million psychos. So that's double the number. Even though the rate is the same, everybody, the number matters sometimes too. You know, I don't think the job descriptions are going to be correct here. Wouldn't somebody that had a couple dollars, you know, maybe fix some of these teeth up here a little bit? Like if he was actually really like some kind of physicist or whatever the hell, not physicist, but engineer of some kind. But look at that. That's exactly the color that Paravon Snapshot predicted. Look at it. Look at this. I'm going to go back to that. Actually, I have a better sample of that shot right here. Oh man, that is unbelievable. Look at that. Look at that. That is insane. Do you guys see that? That is like exactly the same color. I mean, like, man, I swear to God, that Paramount Snapshot place is amazing. Look at that. I mean, yeah, it's like, and they were 94.7% sure that it was in that range. Yeah, I mean, of course, this photo here is, it depends on the lighting and everything, but it's definitely right where they were saying, in that range. Unbelievable. You know, this picture doesn't really look like him, but look at, I mean, the skin tone is pretty close, right? They said he had fair skin. That's what this guy has. You can probably tell this guy would sunburn pretty easily. Yeah, it would be closer. His ears are a little bit lower, though. But that's not something you can tell on a, at least not currently, I don't believe, on a genetic profile. Oh, look, he's got the goatee there. Oh, here comes all the Delphi people. Here comes all the Delphi people. Almost looks like they have him in some kind of jumpsuit here. What's this little outfit they got him in here? Looks like they took off all of his clothes, put something on in the front of him almost. I don't know. And it's weird too. They found 3 used condoms to do these tests. I mean, he's 59. You know, what's he doing in there? I was actually thinking maybe he was sort of reliving the fantasies. You know, isn't that a little bit weird too? How ironic is that? In the garbage can, they find 3 used condoms. 14 years ago, they found 3 used condoms in letters. And then 14 years before that was the sign on the barn door. So you've got this little 14-year symmetry, and then the 3 condoms in 2004 in notes, and then 3 condoms in the garbage can. Yeah, it does kind of look like a bulletproof vest. So does anybody have any extra information that I haven't put out yet? Anything that I can put on the screen? No, they didn't say if he had a picture of April or not. I bet you we're going to find out that he was keeping track of the case over the years. He probably had a little binder. And he probably lived there because nobody would really... Well, here's what's strange to me, right? Like, law enforcement early on, the FBI profile, I don't know what year that was, I think in the 2000s, but, you know, they said he's probably low income. And so you have this place where you have a note in the mailbox, perhaps right there, and one here. Didn't they, like, look around in this area? I mean, this even fits what they were saying. They said northeast in the county. It's absolutely perfect. This is north, going up this direction, and he's right there. Right on the edge. See, what's interesting about this is, I remember, I don't know if I was talking to Ada about this or not, but this is the edge of the sort of the area that he was putting the notes and taunting people. This area up here is just where her body was dumped and the shoe was found, right? So you have her abduction in this area and notes around here like the... I'm not sure why they didn't mention some of these other barn note locations in that affidavit. I think what they were trying to say was, hey, we found a couple notes in this area and he lived right there. But you'd think they might have checked this low income area right here. You know, this whole area, this entire area right here are all looks like mobile homes, or, you know, the kind that are you put there. I'm not sure what you call those. Trailer parks. It's like a trailer park, basically. So you can see the tracks. You see right there? That's how they would push in new ones. You know, it'd be interesting. Let's try to do something here. Here we go. All right. You guys are going to be the first to check this out. So Google Earth does have historical dates. So let's try that. All right. This is 2016. And again, these are empty. Now we can see better because the tree doesn't have any foliage on it. This is 2014. Man, that car's parked right in that same spot every time. Alright, this is 2011. 2010, really poor quality satellite there. But amazingly, sometimes even prior to it, it's clear. So, okay, that's not one of those. That's not one of those. That's not one of them. Okay, now this is actually 2005, and that is clearer. And so what's interesting about this picture is this is literally less than a year after he put those notes on the bicycle. So right now you're looking at him, I mean, like he's right in this house right here. Maybe not at this second that we're looking at it, but this is 9 months after. So let's see if there's any more here. All right, now this is 2003. This is prior, but it's a terrible image. And amazingly, you can make out the trailer here. This is 1998, and that's as far back as it goes. So this is 8 years after the barn note right here. Pretty interesting, huh? Yeah, he lived there the whole time. Yeah, that's what I always say, Marissa. I've actually had morons on social media say, wow, Gray knows too much about the Delphi case. I think he might be the killer. So they you know, because I have a goatee, right? So they turned me in on a Facebook page for the Indiana State Police. And you know what I did instead? I sent the video that I made for the case that showed the flow of the crime, you know, using news footage. And I sent it and put it on their page. And you know what I got? The prosecutor actually called me up and said, wow, this is great. I think we could use this for a trial if we ever, you know. So one of the officers actually said, wow, this is very interesting information. And so he took it over to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor called me up and said, yes, I think we might be able to give you information that can make you a little more accurate, because I was off by like 20 feet here and 50 feet here on different spots. But my friend Beth on Facebook, Baba, that shows up in here sometimes, she actually drove out there for me since she lives in that state. And she went on the bridge with a friend of ours named Bonnie. And they went on the bridge and they took all these shots. So we were on the phone together, and I'd say, okay, listen. See that? There's a vine right here. Just keep going right there. Like, oh, yeah, right there. Okay. We got in this little argument over the vine. She goes, there's vines all over the bridge. But there was this one specific vine that you could see in the shot that Libby took on the bridge, of the full bridge going to the opposite side of where they came. Yeah. So that never, the prosecutor never was able to get to the point where he could give me better information. So we did it ourselves, and now we've got it down to the absolute inch, where each of the photos was taken and where the suspect was on the bridge as he was heading towards the girls in that one. There's 3 still shots that we've seen that are out there. Yes, and Daro's been accused of me. Truth Sleuth's been accused of being me. Virtually anybody that knows me has been accused of being me, and it's a fake account, of course. They all say the same damn thing. What I've really learned is just how gullible and ridiculous a lot of people in society are, okay? Hopefully I don't have many people watching my videos that are of that ilk, okay? Yeah. Well, thanks, Truth Seeker. The Truth Seeker. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I was in this really huge, what do you call it, Facebook group that had something like 40,000 people in the Libby and Abby case. And I was treated like absolute garbage. But what they'll say is, oh, you were mean to everybody, Gray. You wouldn't let them have... No, listen, here's the thing. Is early on, I didn't have a clue in that case. I really had no clue what direction anything was heading. I didn't have enough information. I was screwing up. And then one day, somebody pointed out one thing that then put everything in perspective. It's like in the Kanika Jenkins case, when you realize that the upper right-hand time on the surveillance footage is accurate and is the system time, and you don't question it. Oh, every second, oh, it's not the right one. I've actually proven it's the right time. So once you realize that, then everything starts fitting in. You can track people around. You don't have to worry about all this other garbage, right? But it was this, all it was in the Libby and Abby case, somebody pointed out this one branch of a tree, and that was on the bridge, and that changed everything. And then I was able to put the whole path together with all these different videos, and it worked, Of course, you have to work through things for a while. I didn't know where the sun was. I did this in 3D Studio Max, the software package that I buy every year. It actually costs about $1,500, but I actually buy it just so I can use it on these types of things. So there's actually a solar system in it, a sun. Like you can actually type in the time, the date, and whether or not they have daylight savings time, and it'll actually put the sun in the scene with the northwest, east-south orientation. And now you can place the scene in there exactly like that too. So I went to Google Earth, made sure everything was north-south oriented, took a screenshot, put it right in there, and then everything lines up. And then I built a bridge, actually put the sun on them, and it matched perfectly. Exactly how the sun is hitting the suspect. So then I realized, okay, well, now we know for sure he was walking in that direction, because a lot of people weren't sure which way he was walking on the bridge. I had one guy said, oh, it was flipped. Everything's flipped, Gray. She took the pictures with in selfie mode. Well, thanks, Don. Yeah. Don't know. It's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Or not Fort Wayne, but it's north of Fort Wayne, called Graybill, I guess. It's north of Fort Wayne. It's called in a little town called Graybill, right here. See, Graybill, right there. Good night, the truth seeker. Are you really the truth seeker, though? I mean, aren't we all? Yep, have a good evening. All right. Well, I don't really have any more to add. Does anybody else have any new information regarding this? I think there is a hearing. Is it tomorrow or Tuesday? Yeah. Tales from the Blue-Eyed Indian. He's a cool dude. The thing is everything's just kind of crappy, right? I mean, it's like our society. It's just amazing. We're starting to raise less strong kids. We've got weird stuff being pushed through. Absolute whack jobs out there that seem to have more rights than the people that they kill. I don't know. It's wild. Living in some strange times. What do you guys think of this? I thought that does look pretty close, right? Because you can tell, look at the high hairline up there. It almost even has that little, like imagine this is longer, back in the 80s. Right there, look at that. It goes right there. And then this little part here kind of waves down. You could sort of see this doing that if it was longer. Hair going down below the ears, so you wouldn't have known the ears. But how did they get such a good shot of the person if they were just in a truck pulling up? Hey, you got a subscriber. Thank you. It disappeared off the screen before I could say thanks to the actual individual. Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's got kind of a bulby nose here. wider right there. You know, but again, this image here on the left was one of those things where the witness says, oh yeah, his eyes are like that, and they sort of slide it over. Then, oh yeah, the nose. Yeah, that looks like a nose. Yeah, his lips are more tight like that. Yeah, that one. So you just have this little thing that you composite together, and instead of drawing it, you get this. If who was the witness? Why would that be weird or anything? I mean, yeah, the witness that saw the green truck is the one that is the only witness. So they're the ones that would have had to do the sketch. Wouldn't it be something if he was the witness? Oh, you mean himself? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be weird. I will admit that. That would be weird. And that's why I don't think it's him. I mean, I don't think he's the witness. Yeah, Tails sounds a little bit like Justin, who had those scary dreams. Right, that's what I said, Marissa. I said that. I said that you're saying that the guy arrested was actually the witness that had them draw the picture. And then I said, yes, that would be weird. Or that would be something. That's why I don't think it happened. Oh, okay. Well, at least I got it right, Marissa. How about that? I did understand somebody for once in the chat. Marissa gets a gold star. And yes, I do understand most of you all the time, but sometimes I get so lost. I have no clue what people are saying. I even go up and read it, and I can't figure it out. Because there's so many people talking about different things, it turns into a hodgepodge of information. Well, thanks, April. Jeez. Man. Getting some nice comments here tonight. But I am going to start that personal paranormal YouTube channel, okay? And I know you're going, what? Paranormal, Gray? Yeah, listen, everyone's had those weird things that happen to them, right? Crazy weirdness. So, I'm not going to try to debunk or disprove anybody, because everyone just has their own story. So I'm going to interview people. They're going to tell their story. I'll maybe use Google Earth to show where they're talking about. Let them explain it, and that'll be an episode. I might add some animation in there, something like that. Images. I don't think I'll do it live, though, because then I can put together a quote, piece on it. Right? Hey, see you later, Asphalt. Yeah, there you go. There's the channel, if anybody wants to join that one. There's also a Facebook group in there that you can join to share your story, and then we can discuss it, then do the interview. It's just you guys, DJ R. Like, you'll actually call up on the... we won't be live or anything, but you can call up on Skype, and I'll just record what we're talking about, and then I'll edit it, taking out, if we're having, the story, you want to say a certain part over again or something like that. It'd be really easy, actually. You don't have to have your face on Skype, though. I have a phone number on Skype, or you can dial the normal way with Skype, where you have a camera. Huh? Why would I say goodnight, asshole? Jeez. Hey, Patrick. Hey, thanks, keeping it real. Oh, to the other one? Yeah, cool. All right. Because I thought you were already in this one. But yeah, I'm always going to keep doing these crime ones, but I thought maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, because I don't think they'll take too much of my time to make those personal, paranormal. Yeah. Well, good. You'll have to come onto the Facebook page and type in your story. I think every single person has something, right? Like I told the one, I mean, I'm going to be telling my story. I think tomorrow, if there isn't really any, well, I'm just going to do it anyways tomorrow. I'm going to tell my story, put the first video up of that new channel. I'll put it on this channel and that channel, and I'll let people know where the other channel is, and then eventually it'll all be over there. But I need to build up, at least have like 1,000 or so subscribers over there. All right. Okay. Well, I think I'm about done with this live here, but I thought it was important to explain how they knew the note on the barn was him, because there was part of that message that we never got to hear, but it came out on that affidavit. That he said, Did you find the other shoe? And that's pretty amazing, because that information was not out there. Only law enforcement knew that April had one shoe on, and the other shoe was found 800 feet away. So when he said, "Did you find the other shoe?" that means he's one of the only other people other than the officers that would know that one of her shoes was not with her, and he was taunting by saying, "Did you find the other shoe?" And they did not put that out until this affidavit right here. Although there's people on social media that McNamara was referring to in this article right here, where she said, it's alleged that when April's body was found, she was fully clothed but missing one shoe. The rumor is that above "ha ha" was the question, "Did you find the other shoe?" Now, that could be a real rumor that somebody put out, or maybe the killer went on to one of these forums with a disguised name and put that out there just so that people would be talking about it. Another little taunt, but he used a fake name and maybe went to the library, some weird place that he could type it in, because it seems so weird to me that somebody would actually just guess that. Oh, I wonder if above "ha ha" it said, "Did you find the other shoe?" Yeah, I'm probably going to leave it up. It started off kind of weird because I couldn't understand what Justin was talking about for like 10 minutes. I always get thrown off my game. That's why I shouldn't read the chat very often, but I like to communicate with the people that are watching my videos. It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because a lot of times it throws me off, especially when I look in there and I'm going to try to read to answer questions, and people are talking about this yummy piece of pie they ate at Arby's or something, Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it for me, everybody. I'll try to put up one of my personal paranormal story tomorrow. And if there's any new updates I'm sure there'll be some new information on the April Tinsley case, I'll make a video on that, or do a live, something like that. All right. So that's it, and I'm going to get off the air now, but this time I will play Furious Freaks just because I feel like I can do it. I'm actually happy right this minute that they caught this idiot. All right. Idiot's actually kind, isn't it? Barbarian. All right. Barbarian. All right, so here we go. Oh, good. I get to fly around on Google Earth again. And by the way, all those yellow dots that you just saw, Google Earth just crashed, by the way. Let me load it back up again. All those yellow dots are places that I've looked into crimes. Boom! Bam! All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. And make sure you hit that like button on the way out the door. And share the video if you want. And subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right? So until next time, everybody. Well, you know what I have to do? Sorry, I can't say that yet. I have to put my face on there. Or you won't believe I exist. All right? So until next time, everybody. Be safe out there. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a little bit more of this. One little beat of this. I like it. good night.